Let's get right to it, though, now with Jerry Torres. He's running in Virginia's 8th Congressional District against Representative Don Beyer. Always an uphill climb for a Republican, but Jerry Torres, I've got to think you've got a pretty strong story to tell, not just about you and your great history that led you to run for office, but also, well, about how Don Beyer's not really looking out for the interests of the people of the 8th. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. Great to be here with WMAL. So, my name is Jerry Torres, retired from the United States Army Special Forces, 30 years of service, built a billion-dollar company with 8,000 employees, sold it, and went to retirement and came out of retirement just because of Don Beyer's disassociation with the community. I mean, I'm just talking Northern Virginia now. I'm not talking around the country. Highest prices in Northern Virginia ever. Highest foreclosures, bankruptcies, business failures, business closures, credit card debt. Highest crime rate tripled in the last 3 years in Arlington, tripled in Alexandria, doubled in Fairfax, which are all within the district. And at the same time, we have the lowest education proficiency rate ever and the lowest housing affordability. So with that, and talking to my neighbors just down the street, and a retired General Bob Wood, you may know him, but I had to run. There was no way that I could not step up and help the community. I've been here in Arlington since early 2000. So it's an uphill climb, like you said. We think we've got some momentum at our back. Now I think we're about 75% down. I think we're getting closer to 40%, but we really need the veterans to get out to vote. And we really need to bring the independents and the right-leaning Democrats. And with the right message, I think we can do that.
Don Beyer has acted like, all arrogant politicians who feel rather secure in their reelection efforts. He wins the Democrat primary, and he pretty much says, okay, I've got this seat for life now if I want it. Mm-hmm. And he takes the people of his district for granted. If you go to his social media platforms right now, he's spending all of his time campaigning for Kamala Harris. He's actually got all these tweets. Oh, we were out canvassing the neighborhoods, all about Kamala Harris. He's not even campaigning for himself at this point, sir.
Yeah. He's probably just writing it in at this point. I know that we reached out to him for and I did it via a right-hand person, but for a debate or at least a discussion on stage. And he said his staff folks said that Don Beyer's not going to do any public things with his competitors. So, I think he's just writing it in at this point. I think he thinks that Kamala Harris is going to carry him across the finish line.
He has been sort of absent from most important things that have happened in his region in Northern Virginia during the school closures. He was not on the parent side. He was obviously on Randy Weingarten's side and keeping schools closed as long as possible. But he's also sort of embarrassed, I would say, himself with this effort to ban gas stoves. He's sort of the leader on that in the House. He, of course, then denies it. Then he writes a letter asking for a federal agency to take the stove. So it isn't really an act of Congress, just this agency that does it. Those are his priorities. And, these sort of, environmental concerns, not really the concerns of the community. What do you hear from voters? Do they even know Don Beyer's even still serving? Because he really doesn't make a big impact in the community.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You should bring that up. In talking, I've been going door to door, doing door knocking and speaking to people at various events in the Latin American community, Asian, Korean, Arabic, Muslim communities, and they don't even know who Don Beyer is.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, literally, they don't know who the congressman is what they tend to do is just vote the ballot. If they're Democrats, they vote. We've been able to turn a lot of these folks just by informing them, hey, this is Don Beyer, and let's take your gas stove. And these folks can't afford, the $1,000, $1,500 to take out the lines or take out the gas stove. This is just the lines. It's not a new stove, mind you. They can't even afford that. They can't afford, to put enough food on the table and enough gas in their car to get to work, much less to, remove a stove from their house and then plug the lines and then bring in electrical apparatus.
Yeah.
And so, they're confused about it. They're seeing the light. No doubt about that.
We're speaking with Jerry Torres. Now, he's the Republican nominee running against Don Beyer in Virginia's 8th Congressional District. And you can get more information on him at TorresUSCongress.com, TorresUSCongress.com. Jerry, if you could just sort of sum up exactly what your priorities are here and how because you just laid out the highest prices, the lowest education proficiency, the worst housing affordability in all of Virginia. Yeah. What can you do to help make the lives better for everyday Virginians in this district?
The first thing is we have to have Congress and we have to have the Senate with 2 or 3 seats. And we need Congress in a big way, and obviously we need the presidency. The first thing we need to do, and everything is dependent on energy, and the fastest way to get people into a comfort zone where their prices are low enough where they can start to put money back to the retirement plans or IRAs, and be able to even consider going from electricity or gas to electricity is to start to produce petroleum like we did when under our previous administration. So we have to start to produce gas and let technology catch up. I'm a technologist, by the way. I was a computer programmer with various languages, but technology is not caught up to the point where we can actually reliably switch to things like electricity and make a difference in the household. So first thing is prices. Second thing is crime. No doubt about that. Those are the 2 biggest priorities. And part of that crime thing is, doggone it, we need to control our borders. MS-13 exists in Fairfax, MS-13 exists in Falls Church, MS-15, and they're controlling apartment buildings. And there's a whole story behind that. I've actually interviewed cartel people who are putting up on our website so that people can actually listen to what a cartel member sounds like. And they are business people. They're business, and they're ruthless.
Have you talked to local law enforcement in both Arlington and Alexandria? And what are their thoughts? I mean, probably many of them don't want to come out publicly, but have you had any private conversations with law enforcement? Because there is no doubt that crime is up in our communities in the 8th.
So, yes, I have. Recruitment down, morale down. They don't like to talk about the morale being down because they're strong people individually.
Mark Peters warning signs in Plainfield need.
Sorry about that, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. But yes, they feel recruitment pressures, morale pressures, shortage pressures, and they certainly don't like the fact that they can't enforce the law. So I did navigate that by talking to individual folks. I did not talk to the leadership, but was able to get the crime rates from the leadership in all 3 venues, Arlington, Fairfax, and Alexandria. So the numbers show that law enforcement morale and law enforcement presence is way down. So that's going to be a very, very big push for me.
Yeah. Crime is up. Law enforcement is not being supported. Meanwhile, he's got a campaign staffer that got fired because he was working with the Chinese embassy to set up meetings with other congressional office. Don Beyer is missing in action on that. He's spending most of his time getting a college degree in artificial intelligence. I mean, he's literally a part-time congressman right now. Yeah. And why the people of the 8th are outraged over it, I'll never know. Well, listen, Mr. Torres, good luck with the race. Keep in touch with us. Let us know how it's going. Of course, we'd love to have Congressman Beyer here, but he's too busy cramming for an exam at American University to be here.
Yep. And it's so funny because he actually has pictures of him studying during work hours.
Yeah. Yeah, good. When he's supposed to be on the job. And by the way, work hours, last I checked, you want to be a member of the U.S. House of Representatives? How about a 24/7 kind of commitment to the job?
Yeah.
Exactly. And when I do that, I'm going to have 24/7 operations because the people of this community deserve to have that phone call answered every single time.
Jerry Torres, again, the website, if you want more information, is TorresUSCongress.com. Thank you, sir. Great meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you so much.
8:15 now,